The office party buzzed with fake laughter and clinking glasses. I watched my coworker Tom receive congratulations on his 10-year anniversary. Last month, when he was hospitalized for 3 weeks, only 2 people from the company visited him. The same people who now surrounded him, acting like his closest friends. This scene plays out everywhere. We build relationships that seem solid until the foundation is tested. Your colleagues who share lunch with you daily might forget your name a month after you leave the company. The painful truth? Most connections are transactional. They exist because you provide something of value, your work, your status, your resources. You've felt it before. That sinking feeling when you needed help and the people you expected to be there suddenly became too busy. Or maybe you've witnessed someone fall from grace, lose their job, their status, their money, and watched how quickly their social circle evaporated. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." The insanity he references might be our collective delusion that the social fabric we rely on is stronger than it actually is. Let me be clear, this isn't about becoming cynical. It's about seeing reality for what it is and building your life on solid ground rather than shifting sand. The American economy has taught us sharp lessons about this reality. During the 2008 financial crisis, thousands of employees who had given decades to their companies were discarded without a second thought. Many had believed in the myth of corporate loyalty, only to discover it was a one-way street. Even in our personal relationships, psychologist Alfred Adler points out that many connections are based on what he called social interest, essentially, what others can do for us. While some relationships transcend this transactional nature, many don't. A friend who worked at a prestigious law firm for 15 years recently told me, "When I was diagnosed with cancer and had to take leave, I received exactly 2 personal emails from the partners I'd worked alongside for over a decade. But when I had access to coveted sports tickets, my phone wouldn't stop ringing." His voice carried no bitterness, only the calm clarity of someone who had seen behind the curtain. Why do we tell ourselves comforting lies about our social safety nets? Psychologist Ernest Becker argued in his book, The Denial of Death, that we create immortality projects, structures and relationships that make us feel secure and permanent. Your job, your social standing, your role in groups, these become shields against the terrifying reality that ultimately, we face life's biggest challenges alone. This isn't pessimism, it's pragmatism. The root of anxiety for many people stems from building their security on external factors they cannot control. Your job can disappear in a corporate restructuring. Your social circle can evaporate when circumstances change. Your status can vanish overnight. I remember sitting with Michael, a former banking executive, as he described losing his $500,000 job during a merger. "The worst part wasn't losing the money," he said. "It was watching 90% of my so-called network disappear within weeks. People who had been at my home, whose children played with mine, suddenly couldn't return my calls." He paused, looking past me. "I wish someone had told me to build my life on something more solid." What's the alternative? Build from the inside out. Secure yourself first, mentally, emotionally, financially. Mentally, this means developing what psychologists call an internal locus of control, the belief that you, not external circumstances, determine your fate. People with strong internal locus of control suffer less anxiety and depression when external supports fall away. Emotionally, it means building resilience through self-acceptance and self-validation. Not needing constant approval makes you less vulnerable when that approval is withdrawn. As philosopher Epictetus taught, make it your goal to desire what is actually within your control. Financially, it means creating true security, not just income that depends on a single company or person who might disappear tomorrow, but assets that generate income independently of your active work. This gives you the freedom to make choices based on your values rather than desperation. None of this means you should isolate yourself. Humans need connection. But build those connections with clear eyes about their nature. The philosopher Seneca advised having friends while remaining self-sufficient. Associate with those who will make you better. Welcome those whom you can improve. The strongest relationships are those where both people acknowledge the relationship's conditional nature but choose to invest anyway, not out of neediness or obligation but from a place of conscious choice. When you secure yourself first, relationships become choices rather than necessities. You choose to work at a company because the exchange benefits you, not because you depend on it for your sense of worth. You choose friends because you enjoy their company, not because you need their validation. Ask yourself, if your job ended tomorrow, would your sense of self remain intact? If your social circle disappeared, would you still know your worth? If your external achievements vanished, would you still have a foundation to stand on? A study from Harvard's Grant and Glueck study, one of the longest-running studies on happiness, found that the quality of relationships was the strongest predictor of life satisfaction. But quality relationships aren't built on dependency or illusion. They're built on mutual respect between self-sufficient individuals. Start today. Build your mental fortress by examining your thoughts and beliefs. Are they truly yours, or have you adopted them from your environment? Create financial security through savings, investments, or side businesses that don't depend on a single source. Cultivate emotional resilience by facing rather than avoiding difficult feelings. Remember Michael, the banking executive? 5 years after losing his job, I ran into him at a coffee shop. He had built a modest consulting practice and looked more at peace than I'd ever seen him. Losing everything was the best thing that happened to me, he said. I discovered I wasn't my job title. I wasn't my bank account. I had to figure out who I actually was. The path to genuine security isn't in accumulating external validations that can disappear. It's in building yourself into someone who can withstand both success and failure with equal steadiness. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. This is true freedom, not depending on others for your sense of security or worth. When you build this inner foundation, external relationships become enriching rather than necessary. You can enjoy them fully because you don't need them desperately. So look closely at the foundations you're building on. Are they solid enough to support you when the inevitable storms come? If not, start rebuilding now, from the inside out. Because when the winds blow, and they will, the only question that matters is whether you've built on rock or sand.